Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Launched in 2002 in 250 pieces, this may be the ultimate JLC sporting Memovox. It is the Master Compressor Memovox limited edition in Platinum 950. 41.5 millimeters and massive in the hand. The timepiece measures 15.3 millimeters thick and from lug tip to lug tip, 49.3 millimeters with a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Throw this watch on my wrist, and my wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference, and it fits well. It's not excessively broad across the wrist, though as you can see it is thick, and it actually sits hiked up above the wrist because the case back has such a domed profile to it. So I would recommend this watch for a wrist of 15 centimeters circumference or larger. You can see there's no issue with it overlapping the edge of my wrist, but it is fairly thick and made all of platinum. With a solid platinum case back, you really feel it. Now JLC post 2005 would have included a white gold double deployant clasp with a platinum watch, but pre 2006 you got a platinum clasp, and you can see it's double finished with a combination of media blasting internally and polish outside. This is how it should be. Platinum clasp, platinum watch. The case design is strong. It has very sheer, broad lugs and a case flank to match, though you can see the lugs, when viewed end-on, are fairly tapered and narrow. They have a little bit of a beveling on their edge. And then we have a couple of different crowns here. One of them is used to operate an internal rotating bezel. This watch drew extensively from the dial design of the Polaris 1968 version, and that was the design that today we generally regard as the Polaris. There was a 63 prototype and a 65, but this is the lasting imagery. The numerals, the hands, the shape of the indices, all of this is drawn from 1968. This watch is not a tribute or a re-edition. What it is a nod to JLC's history and heritage. 100 meters water resistant with constant seconds, an internal rotating reference point. This is a light-duty dive watch, and I think it's important to mention that this is in many regards the successor to the Polaris, not just a watch that draws on its legacy. Let's do a quick loom shot. You can see the watch is quite well loomed with tri-Arabic numerals, so you can quickly get your bearings. In addition to that internally rotating dive bezel, you can see that we have a couple of different crowns using the compressor system. White you're tight, red you're dead. Very simple. 1/2 turn, and you can use the crown 1/2 turn, and now it's locked 100 meters water resistant. 1/2 turn, just like that. Now we have a crown up at about 2 o'clock on the dial that is used for setting the Memovox system, and I'll demonstrate to you how this works. I need bigger fingernails. As you can hear, there is actually quite a good deal of volume and sustain. That's because there is a hanging gong inside this case. Rather than beating against the side of the case as in a traditional alarm watch, JLC engineered the caliber 918 to hit a hanging striker that gives you that wonderful alarm clock tone. And yes, it is loud enough to wake you up. Now, I should also mention that back in the 50s, when the deep sea diver arrived from JLC, that was a diving alarm with the idea being that your dive would be ended by setting the alarm to alert you rather than counting on the diver to reference the bezel. So you still do have that functionality. Now, the watch can be manually wound, but it is an automatic. And underneath the case back, and I should mention some of the subsidiary setting modes, we have hacking or stop seconds. And then the watch has a semi-quick set system. Let's see if we're in the date change zone. So the way you actually set this date is that you seesaw back and forth through midnight. And that is the legacy of this being a fundamental architecture developed in the late 1960s for the original Polaris. The caseback is solid platinum, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Given how little a sapphire costs, I would rather the caseback here be a solid medallion of platinum. You can see that these are individually numbered out of the series of 250. The movement is the 918, and as you can see, it's been through the 1,000 hours control. That's a test of chronometry, water resistance, durability, winding efficiency, and power reserve. Introduced in 1992, it was one of the first first true in-house tests to go beyond the test of the bare movement administered by the COSC. The movement, caliber 918, is automatic winding with a 45-hour power reserve. It pivots on 27 joules. It has hacking seconds with a semi-quick-set date, master 1,000 hours testing, and the alarm feature. When fully wound, the alarm will sound for about 20 seconds. This watch, to me, is the ultimate JLC sports watch. Yes, even in a world where the Extreme Lab 1 and the Extreme Lab 2 exist, this, to me, feels like the true heir to the Polaris, part of the continuity of great JLC diving alarms that started back in the late 50s with the deep sea diving alarm. And to my mind, this is possibly the most desirable sporting Memovox from JLC of all time. It is certainly the most beautiful. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.